Well, after that dark winter, now they have to establish their colony or the rest of them are going to die. They had lived in the city in Leiden in the Netherlands, right? So here they're establishing their little plantation. This is country living at its most rugged. So in the spring, they build a building. This is a church, a meeting house that's going to house some of them because they're not going to be on the ship anymore very soon. On March 26th, though, it was a big day for the Pilgrims. March 26, 1621, a monumental day for their survival. They're in their morning assembly, and the door opens, and in walks a stranger, a tall Native American. And he says, "Hello, Englishman, me Samoset." Like he speaks English? Who is this man? They give him some food and some drink. They learn that he'd become friends with some fishermen from Virginia who come up to Massachusetts each year. Well, the next day, Samoset, wants to introduce them to Squanto. Now, Squanto is an amazing figure because he was a Christian, converted to Christianity. His tribe was the tribe that was wiped out, and he was the only remaining member that we know of that tribe that survived. He had been sold as a slave in Spain, lived in England for some time, and was the interpreter of the gospel to the natives. So Squanto now sees these pilgrims, and amazingly, he has been mistreated terribly by people that look like the pilgrims. But he's able to go beyond skin deep here and see them as individuals. He's able to see them objectively, fairly. He looks at them with justice. He's a truly noble and selfless man of God. He lives with the Pilgrims, teaches them 3 sisters farming. First, you got to take the fish and bury it in the ground for 2 weeks so the soil composts, because this soil in New England's rotten. Well, not rotten. Actually, rotten is better. Anyway, wrong word. It's terrible soil. It's rocky. It's no good. Then, 2 weeks later, plant the corn. Let the stalk grow up a bit, then plant the beans, and it'll climb up the corn. And then plant the squash to cover the ground, keep the weeds down, keep the moisture in. And maybe some cabbage too for some nitrogen to the soil. What a wonderful time they had. They had a peace treaty, the Wampanoags and the Pilgrims, their chief Massasoit. This treaty lasted 50 years. Eventually, the separatists at Plymouth here are going to be subsumed into the Puritan colony, so things do change a bit decades later. But for now, these Pilgrims and the Wampanoags have a great relationship. And the Wampanoags, just like Squanto, are able to look past, they know about Thomas Hunt, the notorious English slave trader. They know about horrific acts of imperial conquest. But they say these people can be our friends. That's remarkable. They didn't have the benefit of the teachings of the Bible like Squanto did. They didn't have Martin Luther King Jr. speeches about judging people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. It's just remarkable to me that these two sides were able to be so good to each other. The Pilgrims insisted on paying a fair and just price for every inch of property, every square foot of property, that Massasoit needed to approve of every sale personally. Now, the missionary to the Indians, the most active missionary, was named Edward Winslow. There was a time when Chief Massasoit was sick, and a long ways away, 40 miles away, Winslow says, "I'm taking him herbs. We're going to go nurse him back to health." Well, he's met halfway by one of Massasoit's agents saying, "He's going to die. He's on his deathbed. Don't bother. Go back." But he pressed on, and Massasoit was saved, the chief of the Wampanoags. Here's Edward Winslow saying, "Where there is true love, there is no fear." Where did he get that from? He got that in his Bible. Perfect love drives out all fear, right? Winslow witnessed to the Indians when they asked him, "Mr. Winslow, why do you do this before you eat?" Well, and he explained God's provisions for our needs, and we thank him for it, and we ask him to bless our food. And the Indian then was witnessed to by Winslow and says, "Well, we believe there's a creator God too." And he tells him about that. And Winslow said, this idea of godless, savage primitives is far from the truth.